Oh, it is great to have the Hume Footy League. Dane Swan starred with the Billabong Crows. I'll tell you what, another star is the president, and he got down there to have a bit of a look at it to see the stars, and it is none other than Phil Bouffler. Hey, Phil, how are you?
Mate, very well, thank you, Wayne. Lovely day in the Riverina, and still getting over last weekend. What a great weekend it was, having Dane Swan and Ricky Nixon come up to the Crows. It was just a fantastic day, not only for the club but for the league, and that put us on the map, and it was just a credit to the Crows how they conducted it, and I couldn't speak highly enough about Dane Swan and Ricky Nixon. They were just great.
Yeah, I just want to ask you about this because we'll get to how just fantastic the footy was and that, but you know there's the Carlton draft thing going around at the moment around a lot of the Victorian leagues where they've got an AFL player coming out. Is this AFL too little too late on this? I mean, here we've got a situation where a local country footy club, all these kids have seen a Brownlow medalist, and I know that that one of the South Australian clubs is having a similar night with the former Brownlow medalist Jason Ackermanis, who's coming to their club. But more importantly here, are we seeing a lack of investment from the AFL in bringing the current crop of AFL teams out to country areas to sign autographs, to take the kids on a coaching set of drills? I mean, have we not seen enough from the AFL in country leagues, given the success of what Dane Swan's just done with Ricky Nixon at the Billabong Crows?
But at the end of the day, I mean, this should have been done by the AFL. Like a long time ago, I can remember they'd have coaching clinics and stuff like this. And maybe they do it in metropolitan areas, but when's the last time someone's come up, the AFL's brought someone up and had a clinic in the Riverina or whatever? I mean, there may be one or two examples, but it's not happening on the scale it used to. So this is just another example of the AFL just shoveling money into a great couple of black holes they've created and just having no money left over for regional Australia, for regional football. Where is it all? You know, they should be doing more of this. You know, like why would we got to rely on Ricky Nixon, people like that, to bring Dane Swan up here? The AFL should be sanctioning all this.
Yeah, absolutely. Dane Swan, not only on the field but off the field, was a credit, I've been told, through numerous sources now. And the Billabong Crows come from behind, and the video footage of Dane Swan and his ball-carrying ability and his kicking ability too, booted to himself, was on show. 5.838 to the CD8 for you, the power at 5.636, and it'll go down in folklore.
It was a game, and just before the game, and you know, look, Dane Swan, just the professionalism of the fellow. I went into the game and before the game, so the president, presented Dane Swan with the jumper and that sort of thing. There was just the players and a couple of other supporters in there. Only a pretty quiet group. And then the coaches started talking about the game and the plan and that sort of thing. From the time the coach started talking, they've got dual coaches, so there was two of them talking. Dane Swan's eyes never left that coach one time. He just absorbed everything, and then he went out there. He was running out, signed a couple of autographs on the way out. In the first quarter, every time he got the ball, there was just a beautiful kick to the next person in a better position. Unbelievable. And then they lifted. They got a bit behind in the first quarter. And it looked like, you know, the CHB might have got away a bit, but then he just kept going, and the people got confidence, and it was just an incredible day.
Oh, fantastic stuff. Flanagan also was magnificent, booted a couple, and Bunton also booted a couple there, booted a goal, I think, in the score sheet. Doherty with a couple, and Butler and Schulz and Smith on the other side. Dane Swan best on the ground, albeit Zach Kerr, Don Bunton and Ryan Davies will say that on that day they were on the ground playing good footy with the former Brownlow medalist Dane Swan. The Osborne side, 15-11, 101, too good for how long? 4-9-33. The purring Tigers continue to purr on their home deck.
Mate, as I said last week, when the chips are down or when the whips get going, these blokes find another gear. So how long have they been playing good footy? But, you know, they turn up at Osborne. It's a hard task going to Osborne at the best of times, but when they're playing like this, you know, some of the younger players, young Charlie Douglas got the best players. So, you know, these young players, they just keep coming through. So it's a credit to them. How long played well, but they just weren't up to it on the day.
Not up to it. Multiple goal scorers, Ryan Collins and Charlie Douglas, both with 3, and Macaulay Armstrong and Edward O'Connell both booted a couple of goals for the winning side. In the other games, Henty 13-16, Murray Magpies came back to earth, 5-10. Henty played this game in a brand of football, which I think we're going to look forward to watching. It's a good win for them, but I think that they've got a good forward set up there, and I think that this side is going to be one that's going to trouble a few sides this year.
They've got playing a few home games away, Henty, so I think this was going to be one of their home games, so they went into Urana Road at East Lavington. But the Magpies would have been up and about a bit after only losing by a point the week before. And, so it was a good win by Henty. Played well.
Josh Klempe, very good, 4 goals and best on the ground for their club. Jindera took on Lockhart, and predictably it was 18-17 to 1-7. I know you know a bit about the troubles that Lockhart are having, but gee, that was a good performance. But Jindera fronting as a top 6 side this year.
Yeah, they'll be in the finals for sure, I'd say, so I don't put the knock on them, but they're a good side. They've been playing well, and that was a good win.
Danny Warren with 8 goals, and Mitchell Lawrence did the job for them on the day. And finally, it was Holbrook 12-10 over Warrambabundary Walla 8-9. Gee, the Giants' up and down season continues.
They played well the week before against Lockhart, but this brought them back to base a little bit. So Holbrook are a good side. They're just building away, regrouping each week and going a little bit better. So, that was a good win. The Giants might have been a bit closer there.
Yeah, I reckon so. I think if Nathan Wardius doesn't kick a bag, then they don't seem to have that goal kicking. Blake Lesky and Joel Merkel a couple apiece in the end, but it was the Geister with 4 for the winning side. This week's matches in round 5 of action. She's going to be a very important game at Lockhart. They've had a bit of moisture about the place, but not enough to dampen the spirits of those in the Lockhart Township. They'll come out in force, support their side, but Holbrook will win.
Holbrook will win. They'll travel well. Lockhart will have a good crowd there. There's a good vibe around the club from all reports. A lot of young blokes, and there's a good feeling in the club. So if they can stick around for next year, this is a sort of a building year, really. So, but Holbrook will be too strong.
All right, they'll decide which side they support at Pleasant Hills. Is it the Pleasant people from Warrambabundary Walla, or are they going north to play with Osborne? It's at Rand. It's a huge game for them. Their home match against one of the old foes. Big crowd expected. Osborne to win.
I think so, Wayne. I was at Rand a couple of weeks ago after seeing the Giants play Lockhart, and the ground's in tip-top condition. Unbelievable. I said at the time, 30 or 40 years ago when I was playing football, you'd go to get tackled and you'd come up with a half a jumper full of kaki weed, but it's like the MCG out there now. It's a credit to them how good the ground is. So, Osborne too strong.
Culcan and Henty, the old Olympic highway battle. They'll come from everywhere. Culcan at home, evenly match of the round stuff. I'm going to go with the Lions to beat the Swans here.
Yeah, this is the game I'm going to go to, Wayne. I'll head over to Culcan. Old Barra League sparring partners, not a lot of love lost between the neighbours, so it should be a good game. This will really sort out where they are. They're pretty close together, and this will be a good game. But I think Culcan at home might just get over the line.
I reckon the Brock Burham taking on CDHBU, also near neighbours to each other. At Careen, the Power got to switch the light on them for this game at home. This is a big challenge for them, and Brock Burham in good form at the moment. I'm going with the Saints, I think.
Saints might get up. I think they had a couple of injuries last week too, which soured them a little bit further, the CDHBU fellows. So, when they got off to a flyer, they were probably 28 or 30 points at half time. Then they just scored another couple of goals after that. So they'd be very disappointed with that, whether that sparks them up or not. But the BB Saints, they're just purring along, and I think they might be too strong.
Okay, this is another match too. Howlong and Jindera are the near neighbours again over at Spider Park on the river. I'm going to go with Jindera.
This will be a good game. Playing Howlong at Howlong was always a hard road trip, and I think it will be again. Great facilities and great ground. Close game. Once again, this is a bit like the Culcan Henty game. It's going to sort out who's where in the pecking order. I might tip Howlong at home.
Okay, the highs and lows of football. The Billabong Crows get a win last week in dramatic fashion. Now they go against the Murray Magpies, who haven't been too bad, and I just wonder whether the Magpies could pull off a big upset here.
Right, last week they were higher than Joe Cocker, those people over at the Crows, so I'm just not sure what will happen. Maybe it might be a bit of a letdown. They've got a couple of players. They had a bit of a head clash at training, and they lost one of their players, so who's coming back in? The Magpies, this is going to be close. This will be closer than I think. I don't know. I'll tip a draw, Wayne. How about that?
Oh, God, you've done that again. Come on. You tell me that you'll talk on anything and you'll give it. So come on, Phil. You get off the fence.
All right, I'm going to tip the Murray Magpies to win their first game.
All right, I'll slide to the Billabong Crows just to be on something different, and it's a great weekend of Hume football. We're looking forward to it. Bit of moisture could be getting about too, so it's been cold too. There's no doubt about that. The colder winter is coming in. Phil Bouffler, great to have your company. We'll catch you next week.
Thanks, mate. It'll be a bit cooler this weekend. There's a bit of a cold change coming through, so rug up and enjoy your footy.